this unboxing is a stack of books that I just received, and they all have STEM themes. So let's get started. The first one is this picture book, Rafa Counts on Papa by Cepeda. And it is a math picture book with a counting theme, counting and measuring. And then it has sort of a warm sort of father-son message. So they are measuring with a clock and a tape measure. They also, I think they're thinking of all the different ways they can measure, but one thing that's hard to measure is love. And so that's sort of the theme of the book, but also father-son time and just STEM. So I think it's great to have a Latinx theme with counting and STEM. The next is this, it's like a nonfiction, it's sort of like an information book, Backyard Birding for Kids, an Introduction to Ornithology. And it's just a field guide, but it also says it has projects and more. And it's, it's really nicely laid out with 4 color photographs. Kind of a fun thing to do in the summer is to look at your birds in your backyard and identify them. I'll put a link in the description box below, but one of my blogger friends also has a kind of like a diary worksheet that's a birding diary that you can print out and also fill in. So you can use this to identify the birds, and then you can use her printout, just kind of make your own, observational, like fun diary. The next one is this book, How to Teach Grown-ups About Pluto. And this is by Dean Regas, illustrated by Aaron Bletcha. And it's from Britannica Books. And so this is, Pluto's so controversial. Is it a planet? Is it not a planet? So this is like 2 color, but it has, like very appealing cartoon elements to make nonfiction kind of also a story. So that looks, like a fun story, nonfiction, informational fiction for anyone who is interested in the solar system. The next one is Jobs of the Future, Imaginative Careers for Forward-Thinking Kids by Sofia E. Rossi and Carlos Canepa, illustrated by Luca Poli. So I'm like okay, so I also have a company that we are a staffing company in creative and marketing. So I've personally always been fascinated with the world of work, especially because there's, basically like if you try to tell your kid, like, oh, you should be this or you should be that, especially if they're like in elementary school or even middle school, there's a lot of really interesting jobs that don't exist yet. That could become also like very, like a very big segment of new jobs, like UX, UI designers, for example, user experience and user interface. Like these were not well-known jobs 5-10 years ago, but now they are. And so if you had a kid who was really into designing computers in elementary school, like, we wouldn't even have known about those jobs. So this is sort of, just sort of introducing kids to all different types of STEM and other kinds of interesting jobs that, frankly, none of us might know about them. Like this, the sun sailor. I don't even know what that is. But it looks like it's fun way, information, a little bit of stories, something that's easy to flip around. I don't know, I think that looks great. I'm really into work though, jobs. Edward and Annie, written by Caryn Rivadeneira and illustrated by Katy Tannis. I mean, it doesn't look like a nonfiction book, but I just saw this. It is in partnership with the Shed Aquarium, and I had just been to the Shed Aquarium. It's in Chicago because my daughter goes to Northwestern, and we like to visit aquariums all over the world. So we went to the Shed Aquarium, and we saw these penguins. And the thing is, like, if you go to the Shed Aquarium, it's this huge building that's like very ornate and sort of like, you know, very old. You know, from like maybe a couple hundred years ago, it looks like. And it has all these tanks that are like, you know, not like the most modern displays of you know, aquarium fish. But then there's sort of like this hallway that you don't really even notice. And then there's this giant new section where a lot of these, you know, they were like beluga whales and dolphins. I think the penguins were back there as well. That we barely even notice. So, and it's a huge addition. So if you go to the Shed Aquarium, check out this book or read this book in advance, but definitely make sure you see the modern edition because it was quite fantastic. Okay, the last one of these informational STEM books is How to Hear the Universe by Patricia Valdez and Sara Palacios. Oh, and it's about Gaby Gonzalez and the search for Einstein's ripple in time-space. Oh, that's a pretty advanced concept, right? So the space-time, this theoretical physics, and sort of this, I guess, thought experiment on how you hear the universe. And this woman, Gaby Gonzalez, is a scientist, and she is going to figure out with modern technology how to prove Einstein's theory. Oh, that's super cool. I didn't even know about her, but she apparently is from Argentina, and went to Syracuse and figured out how to measure this 100 years after Einstein's prediction. That's insane. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, I have a STEM, you know, women in science list, and I list all the female scientists kind of by like a timeline. So I'll definitely add this book to that. So thank you all for watching, and here are some great books to look forward to reading.